And welcome to The Watchman. I like to say that Christians United for Israel exists for such a time as this. It is not by coincidence that at this very moment in history, when Israel is surrounded by enemies on all sides, God Almighty has raised up an army of 3.3 million Bible-believing Christians across America to stand with Israel and the Jewish people. Because if not us, who? And if not now, when? CUFI is now America's largest pro-Israel organization, and we are not shy about making our voices heard when God's land and God's people are threatened. So, when a shameful anti-Israel resolution was passed at the UN, a resolution, by the way, that President Obama allowed to pass, we went into action immediately. Earlier this month, 260 pastors, led by CUFI's founder, Pastor John Hagee, traveled to Washington, D.C. to send a message to the UN and our government that for Zion's sake, we will not remain silent. CUFI members spread out across Capitol Hill to lobby members of Congress, and we had three main objectives. Number one, to support legislation calling for the complete repeal of that wicked UN resolution that I mentioned. A resolution that calls the Western Wall and the Temple Mount in Jerusalem illegally occupied territory. Illegally occupied, the UN says, by Israel. This is like saying the Great Wall is occupied by China or London is illegally occupied by the Brits. It's madness. The second reason our CUFI contingent stormed Washington was to make clear that we support the Trump administration's plan to move the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, where it belongs. And number three, we came to Washington to support the nomination of David Friedman, a good and honorable man, as the new U.S. ambassador to Israel. It all added up to an historic couple of days in our nation's capital. Take a look.
Mr. Prime Minister, Christians United for Israel has answered the call tonight. All 3.3 million of us stand with you and stand with Israel and stand with the Jewish people.
If there had been a CUFI, there had never been the first Holocaust. Because you would have woke up Washington. You would have been up here, and there would not have been the slaughter of the Jewish people.
It is a great day when we have the opportunity to reaffirm the decades-long, deeply bipartisan support for Israel that has sustained the strength and reach and depth of the U.S.-Israel relationship.
This resolution is a gift to every anti-Semite on planet Earth. That's why we are here to fight it and to stop it.
We need foot soldiers in this coming battle. And if you love America, which all of you do, then you need to fight for Israel. Because if you don't fight for Israel, God's not going to fight for us. Thank you.
Folks, what a powerful and anointed time we had right here in Washington, D.C. You know, in the book of Isaiah, God Almighty says, "On your walls, O Jerusalem, I have set watchmen day and night who will never hold their peace." At Christians United for Israel, we are playing that role of watchmen and watchwomen on the wall, standing in the gap for Israel. You need to be a part of this movement, folks. Join this mighty movement of God.